Yeah. Big bro. Yeah. I got a Duffy on me, I'm feeling good. The streets talking to me in the hood. I'm doing this exactly how I should. What's not said is understood. Listen to me, I'm on my grind. No matter what, these haters mad. I gotta ask, why you mad at us? Cause I'm on the rise. Yeah, I'm on the rise. All right, what is going on to episode 2 of the Always Climbing podcast? I'm here with my boy Jovan, number one man, Jovan Fair, retired athlete. My guy is now working at Temple. You know, he's working with the athletics. I'm also here with my friend Ryan Shores, my number one main man. My guy is, fun fact, I just learned about this. If, allegedly, the only person from our entire high school class of 2015 to go to an Ivy League school. Shout out to him. He went to Columbia, neuroscientist. And then I'm here with my man's Static Marty. If y'all know anything about the biggest haters, y'all know anything about the way I rap, you know how I get down. That's my right-hand man in the rap scene, man. But this is my guy, Kamar, ran track at Akron U, or University of Akron. My bad, Kamar,
Yeah, come on, put the respect on the name.
Yeah. But now he's down at the University of Cincinnati, studying, what is it? Business administration. My Cuddy is trying to be the next Donald Young, huh? But anyway,
I don't know about that one.
So today, we kind of talked last week about, the desire to just separate yourself, the desire to evolve, the desire to grow, right? And y'all see, for me last week, I'm growing, right? I'm going through my little transitional phase. But the thing that, kind of made me think from last week is just like the fact that this group alone, we're really so different from, many people our age or many people, a lot of our peers, right? So the number one thing that I wanted to talk about this week was just, what does it really mean to be different? And should you be ashamed if you're different, or should you be proud of yourself if you're different? And I think there's different avenues and different things that you can look at in that, that whole spectrum. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And then we also maybe we can learn a little bit about Kamar since he's our new guest. But y'all cool with that?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Get it?
Yeah. So y'all see, man, every week we trying to make upgrades for everybody that's viewing and or listening. We appreciate y'all. But if you're viewing, we trying a new little gallery view, right? And if you're listening, here's something that you can look forward to. If Ryan Shores is going to be a forever guest, he's going to get himself a new mic, so he's not going to sound as bad, right? And I need to get myself a new mic too, because I'm trying to sound like Jovan. He sound like he got the best sound to me.
I don't know. Both of y'all got a good sound.
Yeah, you do too. But we got to work on Shores though. But it's all good. Shores, you sound good, bro.
Don't
worry about it.
I'm calling in from a Game Boy Advance, man. Don't know what that is. They're too young.
So as we go into this conversation, we just got to dive right into it. First thing first, I just want to talk to y'all, being different, right? Don't y'all feel like we've always been that way? Even in high school, I kind of feel like we've kind of separated ourselves and almost to the point where we really did so much that we were a little too much, right? But why has being different been valuable to y'all? What have y'all seen in y'all lives that have brought value of being different? Y'all got any answers or anything?
Yeah, for me personally, for me, being different is just like stepping out and just having a mind of your own and being a leader. Being in this group, definitely, we have so many different personalities, and we don't see eye to eye at everything. So for us, we never would fall into peer pressure and be like, hey, do this, do this. We never forced it. Just hey, if it falls in line with what you're trying to do, let's do it. But we all had our different perspectives, and it led to where we are today. I don't think there's really anybody in our group who just is just mindfully wandering, just trying to be oh, what Bryce doing, I'm gonna follow him. You know what I'm saying?
That's something that I was kind of hoping we can really touch heavy on today. Is just think about how many different avenues there are and how many different phases of our life we go through, whether it's in a workplace, whether it's in college, right?
whether it's we all are athletes at some point, right? Whether it's in sports, you know, like the desire to really try and fit in is so easy in those different phases of our lives and different, you know, places in our lives. But you know, I think there's so much value in not necessarily trying to be different, but just staying true to yourself. Like if you really don't want to do the things that are in front of you and you don't want to do the things that everybody else is doing, don't do it, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I felt almost guilty, right, in my first couple of years of college. Like I almost felt guilty for not wanting to go to a party, right? All I wanted to do was sit inside, sit in my dorm and chill and just talk to my girl on FaceTime. You know what I mean? I wanted to play the game with my guys. And a lot of times my old teammates, they would make me feel bad about it, or they would just like not even invite me to the next party. Maybe I wanted to go, right? But I almost fell in love with that feeling of like, you know what? I'm me. So like, if they don't like that about me, then that's fine.
I like that.
I mean, I see a lot of value in being different in in a few different aspects. I think being different in a way for me has always allowed for me to have a more tender view on the things that I do want and the things that I don't want. So a good example that I'll use is I live with, you know, my parents and then my younger brother, Cam, and my older sister, Kyla. And from the time that we were younger, I always went to a different school, like a different elementary school from my sister Kyla. Like we're the same age, but she's older by, you know, a couple hours, if anything. But what made it best for me is that it allowed me to better understand like what I wanted and what I didn't want. So what I didn't want was to go to the same school as my sister and then be I guess friends with her friends or be around the same type of crowd, because that wasn't specifically for me. Like my personality meshed better with going to Resnick and Erie Island at the time. Any people from Akron, like I'm sure y'all know both of those schools, the elementary schools, but it fit me better to go there because I knew that I would be miserable being a part of a different group. And I think it's the same way as like as far as college, especially like you said, Bryce, because I dealt with the same thing. And Joe, I'm sure you dealt with the same. And sure, you probably got a whole different kind of aspect of being different when you was in college. Because Ivy League boy, man, sheesh.
Oh man, it's a lot. But you know, I do think there's like a good amount of value in being different. You know, like because I mean, obviously, you need sort of the foundation of like being able to contribute to like, you know, society as a whole in a group. So, you know, you don't want to go super far out into left field, but at the same time, you know, especially as you're trying to build yourself up, you know, what you can do that's different is really what starts to set you apart from, you know, the people around you. You know, if it's 30 people that all bring the same skill set to the table, but it's only one of you, you know, when it comes down to it, they can pick from one of any of them 30 to fill that role. But then when they need that one of you, you're the only one that's there. So I definitely think, you know, once you really start to get into like making your own way and like having your own variation on the whatever the norm is for what you're trying to do, you know, it really gives you a lot more options because, you know, you bring something that nobody else can really bring, you know, to the table. Like you're just you.
Absolutely. You bro, I ain't gonna lie. As you just said that, you got me thinking about, you know, just even my career and how I've kind of stepped into this school counseling role, right? And even in that career field, I feel myself being a little bit different than the norm, right? First of all, let's be real. As we look at, you know, stats, like in my grad program, right? Like I was one of maybe 2 African-Americans in the whole program, right? And of all of those, I was probably one of 5 males and I was one of 1 African-American males. So, you know, it was, even that, you know, for me was just being different. And, you know, I had a whole different approach, a whole different perspective in the classroom. And now as we transition and as I move into my career, then one thing that I'm noticing that these kids are really connecting with the most is like me genuinely being a little bit different than their old counselor, right? Their old counselor was a little bit older. You know, they loved her. They still miss her. They talk about her all the time. And I never got the pleasure to meet her. But you know what I do when I do my guidance lessons or when I have kids, I play music in the background, right? Hip hop, you know, the music that they like. Sometimes I'll even give them a little bit of incentive. Like, hey, like if you guys are all on green, you know, I might rap for y'all at the end. They like, Mr. Harris, you don't be rapping. I'm like, hey, yeah, you know, I get down, I rap. So then I'll rap and I'll freestyle and talk about the class. I'll start naming names, you know what I mean? And talk about how much I love this kid, how much I love that kid. And these kids really buy into it and they love it. You know, even another thing that I do is like, I don't ever, at least I try not to ever eat lunch by myself. You know, if a kid wants to eat lunch with me, I bring them in. You know, a lot of counselors, they feel like they need extra time to themselves. Maybe it's because I'm not young, maybe it's because I'm new to the career, but I haven't felt no burnout, you know what I mean? So I feel like I need to exhaust as much as I possibly can of these kids. And even that is different in that career.
Yeah, bro.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for me, it's been rewarding. You know, it's been helping me out a lot, you know, just trying to get better. You know, being different can either bring you down or it could bring you up. I can't think of how many people that I could think of that have tried to like be different to the point where it becomes toxic. You know what I mean? How many people do y'all really know that they're like, nah, man, you know what I mean? I'm different, like blah, blah, blah. That's why they wear these different clothes. That's why they try and, you know, step out. They try and maybe do drugs because they feel like nobody else is doing that drug. Right. So that type of being different is almost toxic. Like I feel like it could bring you down. But then there's that other side. It's like, you know what? All of these people are going this way and I see how they're ending. Let me just try this way. Let me just try and go, you know, the opposite route and see where it takes me. I think there's nothing but the opportunity to learn and the opportunity to grow if you take that route.
I think that's interesting that you even mentioned that too, because a lot of people's definition of different is different. I mean, no pun intended, but I just thought about something. There's a clothing brand that I know about. I used to follow them on Instagram, but they ain't follow me back, so I don't follow. You know what I mean? But it's called Different, like different company, and like I guess part of the brand is applying these different patchworks and applying different material to separate their clothing from other brands to make it quote unquote different. So I don't know. I just thought about that where you said some people think I'm gonna wear this because anybody wearing that. Because some people's definition is kind of like very surface level. But I feel like even with all four of us, even like the rest of our friends, everyone a part of the whole Always Climbing community is different in a more internal way, whether that's the way they speak, or that's the way they view friendships, or the way they view sacrifices. It can literally be anything for real. But I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that up. And they clothes is kind of hard. I ain't gonna lie to you. They clothes is kind of hard. They was just expensive. I said I'm cool. Hit the thrift or something.
As you talk about clothes though, how many? I mean, let's talk about, you know, how many people try to be different just because, you know, they're insecure in themselves. Or what, you know, what else we could even bring up is just the concept of like why people don't try and be different. That's an even better topic to talk about, is like, why don't people try and be different even when in the back of their head they know they should be? You know, like they say you're in a new environment. You just came to a high school, right? Let's say you're a high school student. You know, I went to, you know, a private school. Now I'm going into the inner city. You know, I don't really know what my crowd will be when I step foot into the school the first time. And, you know, I see the popular kids, I see the cool kids, and, you know, I want to be that person. I want to fit in. Should I? Do I really think I should be doing what they're doing? Should I be doing, you know, maybe talking to the girls the way that they talk to girls? Should I be trying to affiliate with gang? You know what I mean? No. But because I'm so insecure, because I'm so, you know, nervous about my new environment, instead of me trying to be different and maybe praying that, you know, God will take care of me in a different way, I just fall into that norm. You know, I think it's very easy for the youth, and I think it's easy for even adults. Let's just be honest, but it's easy for us, you know, as humans to just fall into the norm because we're nervous about what might happen if we don't.
Right. You know, and I mean, I think you really hit it on the head like a little bit earlier. You know, you said even when you're looking to be different and you sort of like see the outcome that people are getting and you want to like move away from that. You know, I think, you know, a lot of this stuff with difference really comes from that idea of like seeing the outcome and sort of like figuring out how you feel about it. Right. So, I mean, you know, when you start talking about when is it a bad time to be different, or like what sort of makes people not want to be different, you know, if you see the outcome that people are getting from acting a certain way, you kind of like that, you know, it sort of sets you up and it's like, oh, I'm just about to do it this way. You know, you see the popular kids doing this, that, and the other, and they're popular. If I want to be popular, let me go ahead and slide on over here and see, you know, how it's going for them and all that. But, you know, I guess the hard part about it is when, you know, you look at the outcome that people get, you think, oh, you know, I want this outcome, or I want to be like that, or I want to have that for me. You know, you really just got to be certain that you get the full picture, right? You know, there's a part of the outcome that you can see, but then there's the part that comes afterwards that you might not always see. So, you know, I think, you know, in terms of like figuring out when it's like good to be different or bad to be different, you know, it's really about trying to get like the clearest understanding of what that outcome or end goal is going to be. And then from there, making your decision based on that, because it's going to take you where you need to go one way or the other.
Yeah, that's real. Jovan, I know you can speak to, you know, a little bit of what Shores just said about, you know, just being different in high school. You know, like you and me both, we were like, you know, we still are, but like I'm talking about like dynamic duo brothers, right? And
exactly.
think about how many people, you know, we saw in the same shoes as us that could have had the same Division I football scholarship that we had, but you and I decided, you know, let's go this way. You know, a lot of those guys, they wanted to fit into the crowd, you know, and they knew better. How many people do y'all know that just knew better? They knew I shouldn't be doing this. I probably shouldn't be skipping class right now. I probably should not get into this fight. I know I could control my emotions, but I got to do it because everybody's watching me right now. I mean, Jovan, you the biggest dude in the school. I know people tried you because people definitely tried me. How many times have you just like had to hold yourself, control your anger, just be like, you know what? Not today. I'm not going to go down that road.
Yeah, of course, plenty. I mean, a lot of that comes to like them falling to that norm that they don't even know that they're falling into. They're just like, okay, this is what the group's doing. This is what I've seen throughout time. This is what they do. All right, that if anything fall through, I'll just go to Akron. Like they just have that blanket to fall back on. And it's just like, I've seen what y'all are doing, and that's not where I'm trying. I don't want to like fall back at another school. Like that don't even sound right to me. And they're just trying to live their good life in high school, but not really seeing the bigger picture, you know, 10, 15 years down the line, how that's going to affect them long run. But a lot of them don't really have the capacity to really block out, you know, people who aren't doing the same thing, like getting that pushback, like, oh, you weird because you want to do this, you want to stay at home when we go into a party. Oh, you don't drink? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, we've got that plenty of times at you know, even in college. I remember on my official visit, people telling me like, hey, you want to sip? You want? No, I'm cool, I don't drink. What you mean you don't drink? What you? Bro, it's not me. That's not what I want to do.
And as soon as you hear that,
and not too many people are ready for that.
Yeah,
exactly. Not too many people are like mentally, you know, strong to themselves to really block out outside noise and really take on a different perspective.
I'm starting to think about, you know, I don't want to make this too much of a like, you know, just a reminiscence session, but I'm just thinking about how many different things we did in high school, man, compared to the, you know, the norm. And I think that's what kind of made
whatever
us,
we wanted.
I think that's what made us popular though. You know, I really do. I think that's what made us popular because were we the coolest kids? Never.
Yes.
I did not have it. No. I'm talking about. let me rephrase, guys. For those that are just listening, let me put it in quotes here. Okay, this is in quotes. We weren't cool, right? Like to the standard of cool. Come on, You barely had retros, right? Like I had one pair of retros, and I had to grind.
I was wearing shell toes, boy.
I didn't have no True Religions. I had USPA polos. I was not rocking Ralph Lauren, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like we was making shirts, right? But they didn't look cool.
Bro, we was rocking them though, right?
Like, I'm rocking the shirts. So hard. Like, shirts is corny. Like y'all gotta understand, like what type of shirt. Like I might have one. Man. I don't know. And
the shirts was corny, but they were so hard at the same time. Like.
Y'all gonna have to check out Always Climbing project on Instagram. I'm gonna find that shirt that I made, and I used to rock it every day. I'm talking about it was an AC shirt, everything.
Yes.
But bottom line is, why did everybody like us, right? Like, were we the coolest? No. But we were involved in literally everything possible. Like, we literally were trying to do everything different. Y'all was in Catalina. What?
We did
We
Cali.
was getting right in that joint.
What?
Like,
If I could swim, I would be in that too. But you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
who does that? Who wants to
Just
be a
in the pool
cheerleader
for
as the
what?
star athlete? Me. Who dances? Who just hops on the dance team just to do it?
man, listen.
Right? Like, but the point is, we didn't care about what anybody thought. We didn't care
No.
how it made us look. How many times did we get called weird? I can't even. I'm like,
Man, so
look,
much. Though.
Y'all weird.
Listen.
Y'all do-
Kyrell,
Much.
if you listening to this, I love you, my dog. Kyrell called us weird all the time. I'm talking about lanes, all of that, right? That's just somebody that came to my mind. But like, think about it. Like,
right.
everybody judged us. We did that student section for the basketball team. Everybody judged us. Broke the
They
They
were
looking at us
judges.
crazy. They were looking
Turned
at
the
us
whole
crazy.
school up, but they
That
still
was the
judged.
whole-
Yo,
But at the
me-
end of the day, it was because we valued ourselves, we valued our
Mhm.
friendships, and we wanted to create as many opportunities, experiences, and just outlets to be different as possible. And I think it helped me grow as a man, helped me grow as a young man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know, like if I wasn't to fall into that, if I didn't have y'all to help me fall into the, comfort of being different, who knows where I would be? Who knows what I would be rocking? Who knows if I would even be married? You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah, right.
You just don't know. If you don't try and be different, if you don't try and just be yourself, who knows what you could be? You know what I mean? You're always going to be trapped into this little shell of like, I have to do this. I have to act this way in this situation. I can't really express myself the way I want to because I'm stuck in this shell. Try and just let out and feel what you feel. Be who you are. You know what I mean? And
Right.
see where it takes you.
Yeah, for real.
Somebody in this little conversation, I think, has done a great job with being themselves more than any of us. And I'm not gonna say, but I'm talking about this dude has always he's been on at the top of the top, and he's, you know what I mean, never faded, always stayed true to himself, even grew, you know what I mean, upon himself in terms of his religion, in terms of, how he wants to conduct himself. You know what I mean? I've seen this man control his emotions a little bit better. It's my Cuddy Kamar, man. So, I give you a lot of respect. I give you a lot of love, man, because I've seen the process, man, and I've seen where you've come from.
It's been a process.
And one thing that you've never done is switched up. So maybe you could speak a little bit just on that. Like, what was it? Like, why have you never switched up even when you went to the University of Akron? You had all this temptation, all this, these people, this negative energy that could have steered you the wrong opposite direction, but you never flipped. So I just want to know why. Like, what was it?
I feel like the main reason that I never switched up was because I knew what I did want to be. I knew what I didn't want to be. I feel like the biggest challenge really with even trying to identify that is I think it's kind of slept on, but it's the fact that I had to get in those situations where I realized like I don't want to be this, or I don't want to be this anymore. Like from being like a little itty bitty kid, like, a lot of people tell these sob stories or anything really from their own personal testimony, but I take my testimony and I'm proud to speak on it and show different examples of how I became a different individual from like even touching base, like not too detailed, but there's things that I seen in my family that I was like, this is absolutely something that I'm not gonna let affect me or my future. Like this is something that's not gonna stick with me from generation to generation to generation, because I've seen how it has affected my family more specifically. And even touching on college, like with temptations and stuff like that, I feel like I got myself, when I first got to college, everyone has those typical college stories, but more specifically with me is I was around the temptation rather than like not put myself in that position. I placed myself in that position thinking that it was going to be cool, thinking of these new people that I met, because I went to Akron, but I didn't see anybody I knew from the city of Akron for months, even though I was always on campus. But like some of my teammates saying that they wanted to drink or go here, go there. I had these teammates saying they was trying to give me game on girls, like how to talk to girls, how to pick up girls, how to basically how to make a woman submissive to me. But I knew different that I wouldn't be submissive or I don't want a woman that's submissive to me if that woman isn't my wife. I mean, so I was always committed to like seeing the way my parents were, to the fact where it's like I see my dad be quote unquote submissive to his wife and vice versa, but not in a way of I'm doing whatever you ask me to do, but I'm doing what's best for you and for us. So, being in those situations, like I was able to identify that, like, I don't want to be around these girls. I want to be around this drinking. I want to be around the smoking. I want to be around all this temptation and all this lust, because it didn't align with,
Side note,
like a better.
huh? Kamar has cheated on every girl that he's been with. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Kamar has not cheated at all. This is the most loyal dude I know, man. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Hey, when you said that, I had to say it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
It's an ongoing joke for all the viewers, man.
That's a long running joke.
We hold each other.
Yeah,
we all hold each other accountable, man. That's what we do as friends. We make sure we hold each other accountable in every aspect, not just making money or saving money, but just ways that we create even greater value for ourselves. But no, what I was saying was just simply though, like with my spirituality, like the growth in that, I knew for a fact that some of these things I gotta eliminate in order to grow my relationship with Christ, to better myself as a man, an individual, a brother, a son, a friend, etc. Whatever category I fit in.
Yeah. And as you talk about that, like even me, bro, like, I've always been a Christian all my life, but I think, if anybody ever sees my post, I always say under my post, #DareToBe, #outsider, right? And for that, what that means to me is, if you're an outsider, and the way that I'm looking at it is you're a Christian, and I'm a strong believer, you know what I mean? So kind of what that whole outsider concept is literally being different, right? There's so many different things that the devil is trying to hit us with in this world. There's so many different things that God is trying to bless us with in this world, but you have to be willing to accept it. And you can't fall into the easy temptation, the easy deception that Satan is trying to give you, right? So the pride of being an outsider, it's literally the pride of being different, the pride of being a Christian, right? The pride of being, you know what? Almost every last one of my teammates would fall into this trap. Almost every last one of my friends will fall into this trap. Almost every last one of my coworkers will fall into this trap. No, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go this way. I'm going to hit a full 180 and I'm going to go where God wants me to go. That's what being an outsider is. And I think you're a great, example of what an outsider is. You are even going through some stuff, more recently, because you just did that Daniel fast. And I know you told me a little bit about it, but maybe you could share a little bit more about that, because that is as being an outsider as it gets, in the sense that you just was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this all to God for the next 21 days? Was it 21?
Yeah, 21.
Like what? So even that is being an outsider, because I ain't gonna lie to you, Kamar. I'm done with football. I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as I made that decision, I said, you know what? Let me go look into this book. And then I thought about the things that you did during that time. I thought about how many times we got on the game. You was like, bro, I am hungry. Bro, I am tired of water, bro. And I said, you know what, bro? I can't do it, bro. He is different. God, I love you, but I can't do that right now. I need my steak. So tell me a little bit about that fast and what that experience was for you.
I mean, God, at the end of the day, like you said, you love your steak. God knows where our heart is. But to me, I did the Daniel fast. I felt like it was necessary. I wanted to take a next step in making sure that I give my time, my effort, like my heart, my attention to God. And a way of doing it, doing the Daniel fast is a way of doing that. So you cut out practically everything that tastes good. Like basically everything that tastes good. I was eating beans and brown rice. So your Cuddy's stomach was bubbly. I was gassy. But nonetheless, though, like the challenge of it was that first 7 days, like I survived on water alone, not water and the limitations on food. I just drank water, and part of that, I mean, it was a different type of diet.
Wait, you said how many days did you just drink water?
First 7 days, I drank only water.
Like you didn't
But like,
eat any food.
but like you drank water with a nice stack of pancakes, eggs.
Nah.
Yeah, bro, you different.
Nah. And then the crazy part about it is when I began to fast, it wasn't like I planned on it. I'm like, all right, when the year turns, I'm a fast. I was just deep in prayer. I was thanking God for like giving me the transportation. I was thanking him for all the blessings, like to be able to go from Cincinnati to Dayton to Columbus up to Toledo and then like go straight to Akron. And I'm like, bro, I can't believe I made it to all these places, still made it home on time for Christmas Eve to see my family and be a part of this, fulfilling moment to even celebrate the birth of Jesus. And a couple of days later, I'm like, I just didn't have an appetite at all. I made some food, sat it down. I'm like, I'm not really feeling this no more. So I'm feeding it to the dog or whatnot, throw it away. Didn't eat the rest of the day. And I got into prayer and I just heard God speaking to me and just eliminated, like all my conscience eliminated any type of appetite of food, sugar. And I was with my family and I drove back down to Cincinnati because I'm like, God was telling me to just be alone, like just take some time to be alone. And part of that process of being alone was getting into the idea of I'm going to be fasting. I'm doing this alone, but it's not for myself. It's me and Christ alone that are actually a part of this. So in the Daniel Fast book, they talk about whenever you feel hunger pains, get into prayer, get on your knees, say a prayer up to God, eliminate that temptation of wanting to eat through this fast. And every time I felt like I had the urge to eat, I just prayed, drink water, feel like I went to Texas de Brazil. Like I ate all the meats that they brought out, the whole salad bar. Like I actually felt full, but really I was full of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit, not actual physical food. So 7 days I lasted, and then I broke, and I seen some fruit, and I said I need it.
Probably was delicious.
Ooh, so crazy.
That's incredible.
I'm still trying to understand how you're like a lot.
Bro,
yeah, I'm still processing too, right?
I lost like 20 pounds when I did it.
Crazy.
And I'm not a heavy dude.
Hold on. How many pounds?
I'm not a heavy dude.
Trying to get that.
I'm not a heavy dude. If anybody asks my credentials, I'm 6 foot, basically sit at about 193, 191. I fasted, ended fast. I was like 170, like $170. I said, there's no way.
Did you get your weight? Did you get your weight back up?
I haven't been able to. So I haven't got fully up there, but I hit like 189 and I've just been floating like 85, 89.
And what's your normal weight?
My regular weight is usually about 193, like in between 191, 193. So I'm close to it, but ever since the fast, I still haven't had the same appetite. Like I will stop eating a couple bites into something because I'm just like, this is enough. Like this is enough for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I'm sure that whole experience just brought you even closer to God. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. Absolutely.
And even just me even opening up that Bible, man, like that's helped me a lot because I've always been a believer and I've always going to church. I've taken my time off sometimes, but my boy V up in Toledo, he actually bought me a study Bible and he was like, yo, tap in. And I just tap in every night. And ever since I've been doing that, my connection with God and my relationship with him has grown even more. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing that for probably eight months now, and I've learned so much more about God and the sacrifices that Jesus really made. I've always known, but I just learned more in it. Even that has caused me and called me to be even more different, right? And that's that type of different that I said I think is positive because we all know about football, right? We know the football environment and we know that could get real gritty, right? whether it's violence, whether it's cuss words, whether it's anger, whether it's jealousy. If you're not the starter, God kind of allowed me to eliminate all of that. And I don't know if I would have been that same way if the same stuff I'm going through right now happened last year, with the little bit of relationship I had with God last year. I compare that to how I feel now. I literally feel unstoppable. And so much has happened to me in a bad way, right? Recently, I literally feel like I'm on top of the world. And I think it's because of my relationship with God. I've
Amazing.
think about football. Like I said, we talk about football in that environment. Last year, I didn't get in not one fight. I didn't cuss not one person out. And I don't even like to cuss that much. But when I get on that field, sometimes, it does come out. Didn't do it not once last year. Didn't even have no desire to do so. And at the end of the day, I'm okay with being that. That to me, that is what being an outsider is. Being a Christian, being confident in my Christianity enough that I don't care about what other people around me are doing. You can do that. That's fine. I'd rather be this way. So, a lot of credit to that, man. And as we kind of transition, that kind of makes me think a little bit. Jovan, you could probably speak on this better than anybody. But if we talk about Christianity or not, don't even got to talk about that. We can just talk about life. If I believe this, right? Let's say I believe one thing. Let's say I tell my head coach, I want to be the starter this year. He's like, okay, you want to be the starter? You got to show me that you're the starter. But I'm not showing up on time. I'm skipping reps in the weight room. I'm last one in, first one out. How am I showing my coach that I'm the starter? So basically what I want to kind of hit on is like, what's the difference between your beliefs and your behaviors, and how important is it for them to match? Maybe you could speak on that.
Yeah, to me, I work with student athletes every day, right? They tell me, hey, I'm about to go to the NFL. I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. And I'm looking at them. I talk to them. I'm like, well, did you do this? They're like, nah, I didn't get no extra work. No, I didn't get no extra stretches in. You're not even committed to it. So like, you can believe that all you want, but your actions aren't showing that you're going to do this. Like your actions and like those actions and beliefs have to be so intertwined. They have to be a straight up alignment with one another. Because if you going out partying every weekend, coming to a workout hungover, smelling drunk, like, you know what I'm saying, still smell like alcohol on you, well, you're not committed. You don't want to really do this. And the same thing with faith. To me, like for me, I'm still growing my relationship with God and praying every day and whatever like that. But if I really want to build my relationship with God, I can't even pray or commit to the Bible 30 minutes a day. Like at least something. I get 24 hours. I can't give 30 minutes when I'll say thank God every day for everything he give me, and I can't give him 30 minutes.
Right.
Those are the type of things that just have to be connected with one another, or else you're just dreaming at that point.
Yep. How can you believe, like literally, how can you tell yourself that you want something in this world? How can you really believe in something and say that you believe in something, but you literally do the exact opposite? That's the definition of being a hypocrite. Like, like Jovan hit it right on the head. I don't understand that. Like, that was my biggest pet peeve. Hi. Come say hi.
Are you live?
Yeah. Well, we're not live, but so my wife just got off work, so she's gonna say hi real quick. She's gonna say what's up, but she just got off work.
What's up,
You don't scare me.
You should have warned me.
Well, I told you I was doing the podcast, but anyway, what was I saying? If you believe, like, I can't tell you how many of my teammates told me when I was up there, hey, big bro, I'm trying to do this and that. Like, I'm trying to be a leader like you. How are you trying to be a leader like me when all you do is go out, party, drink, mess with girls? You're late to every workout. You're arguing with our trainer who's only here to help you. Like, that does not make sense to me. How can you say you believe in leadership, you believe in leading by example, you believe in doing all of these things right, but every single day you're showing me and you're showing your teammates and you're showing your coaches that you completely disagree with what you just said? I don't understand how people can do that. How can you say I want to be the leader of the team? How can you say I want to be the manager of the company when I'm late every day? How can you say I'm a student athlete and I believe that firmly? You're late to every class. Sometimes you don't even show up. You don't study for your test. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Maybe somebody else can make it make sense, but I don't get it.
It's not, I think it really goes to like, that expression that like talk is cheap, but I mean, it really comes through that way. Like, the way I see it, you got two real options, right? You got the things that you want and the things that you would like to have, right? So most things fall into that category of things you would like to have, like, oh, it would be nice if blank, or like you would appreciate it if blank, or you could, acknowledge that you would be the happiest person in the world if blank. But to me, want is shown purely through action. Like you can't tell somebody that you want something, like you have to show it through what you do, right? And I think it's really having like that type of distinction to where it's like when you say like this is something that I really want, you can say it 1,000 times, but it's still something you would like to have until you start actually doing it, until like you start acting on it, putting in the time every day, putting in whatever you got to put in to actually do it. You're really not going to wind up getting to where you're trying to get to, because you can say whatever you want. I can say I want to be the president. I can say I want to be an astronaut. I can say I am the president right now. I just took over the White House. I'm reporting to you live from the middle of Africa, and it doesn't matter, right? You can say whatever you want. Words only go so far. But you hear them coming in the distance. Police coming too. They know where I'm at too. It doesn't matter. You can say anything that you want, and it's not gonna make a difference. But it's only when you really start like doing things and showing people like with your actions. That's all. That's really the only thing you can stand on. Stand on your work. Stand on the effort that you put in daily. Stand on the dedication that you have to yourself. Because when you can show people how serious you are, you can show people how committed you are to something. That's when you really have some credibility. Because everything that you say, that's just it's fluff. It's fluff till you do it. So do it.
It's all lip service.
I can't help but relate everything to football. That's football's been my life. So forgive me for bringing another example. But like what you just said, like, what I tell a lot of people, especially the youth, my students that's at my school, they say that they want to go to the NFL, right? That's every kid's dream, right? That's cool. But are you a football player or do you just play football? That's what I ask them every single time. Are you a football player or do you just play football? Because if you're a football player, you live and breathe it. And you know what it takes to get to where you want to get. You know exactly what it takes. Like, I have to go to sleep at night. I got to eat right. Any negative energy and distractions, they got to stay away from me because I need nothing but good people and good vibes in my corner. I got to have grades. If I don't have grades, I know I can't go to college. These are things that they know. Those are 4 good things that they know. But most of the time, 1 or maybe 2 things are out of it. And I would challenge them. Maybe you just play football. You're not really a football player. You just play football. Because a football player, he has all of those things. He lives it. He breathes it. He loves it. He literally loves it. Maybe you just play, maybe you just like the jersey. And I tell them just like that, nice and calm. And then they get a little defensive, but that's how you want it. You got to have that type of, conversation and maybe wake them up like, yo, maybe I'm not doing enough, because your beliefs has to match your behaviors.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you know what, going back to what makes people different, like going to like, oh, I'm different. That's what makes people different. Because not everybody's doing what they need to do. Not everybody's doing the right things. It's cool to have all the swag in the world, look good, whatever. Mm-hmm. That just shows you're creative. That's cool. Like you can dress well. You're creative. That's the thing that makes you a little different. But like, what like mental switch do you have that really makes you different? So like your actions can follow what you're actually thinking and your beliefs. Mm-hmm. So like, just like talk about behavior and beliefs, like what's gonna make me the best player, the best entrepreneur, the best neuroscientist, what's actually going to take me to that next level. So when I'm going against my peer on that job interview, boom, I can point out right here.
Right. That's facts, man. That's facts. Kamar, you got anything to say about, just like beliefs versus behaviors? Like, have you ever been challenged by that?
Yes, I have been challenged so many times as far as like beliefs and behaviors. I know, Joy, I mean, you relate a lot of stuff to football. I can relate it to sports too. I related back to when I was running track back at Akron, and I was always trying to speak to my teammates sometimes in a little bit more appropriate manner, which was, in my opinion, I did wrong when I look back on it now, because I was in a way trying to be different, but I was also trying to tailor it to how someone else could understand a little bit easier, rather than just applying like God, Christian behavior. But it's more so like, I'm not trying to do that. That's not what I believe in. And I was going to a Bible study at Akron. I realized like this ain't enough for me. Like I want more. I want to achieve more in my spirituality. So I took the time to, and one of our songs that we made is called "Thank You, Lord." And one of the songs, like I say, the best time of my life, I felt I finally did right. I disappeared for some months, and I shared the gospel with Mike. So it's like I went off to camp, and I actually wanted to, spread the kingdom of heaven by speaking to youth and telling them my testimony, and basically putting my beliefs into action. Like I wanted to achieve something. I wanted to make a difference. So I actually had to go out and move my feet and work to make a difference, because it wasn't going to happen on its own. I can't say I want this and then think that, just the way people look at me, they'll change something. Like it'll change, but it's like, no, I have to create the change. I have to like strategically make moves to actually make that happen. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, and honestly, I'm a person that doesn't like cliches, but sometimes you can't avoid them. Like you have to make stuff happen, or else it won't actually happen. I mean, what do they say sometimes? Like prayer, like when you pray, you have to move or something. I don't know the saying, but basically all it is what I just said. Like, and like everyone else is saying right now, like you have to put your words in action. Actions speak louder than words. That's another cliche, but the truth of the matter is that actions do speak louder than words.
Yeah, same. I mean, I completely agree. Like, you could talk that talk all you want, but you got to walk that walk too. Like, you cannot try and act all cool in front of these people. You can't say all of these things in front of somebody and say, "Oh yeah, I do this, I stand by this," but you don't take no action towards it. So, I commend all y'all for doing that.
I actually got a quick question for Kamar and Shores. What are some ways, or have y'all been in a situation where I had to challenge someone to be different, or kind of, align their beliefs with their behavior? Because me and Bryce, we work with students every day trying to, do just that. But I wonder if y'all have actually experienced that maybe in your work, or even, outside of it, with other people that you come in encounter with.
You can go ahead, Shores. It looked like you got some good, boy.
No, I'm just. That's
You got something brewing?
Interesting point. Like
I can speak on that all day, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, because y'all know I got stories for days.
Right.
No, just hit us with one in, Bryce. Why they think of something?
Yeah, I got to think on that.
Oh, all right, bet. Well, I got something good. I got something that applies to myself, like me being challenged. I got something that challenges other people. So when almost in the same room as like counseling, when I was at camp, I had to deal with different kids every week, middle schoolers, high schoolers, elementary kids. And it's lasted for 12 weeks, 13 weeks, something like that. And the challenge that I had given throughout those is allowing people to change the perspective on how they view different people. With camp, it wasn't that often. Like there was actually a black counselor. It wasn't that often. It was a black kid. It was more specifically tailored around, I guess, a white community. It's in Ravenna, Ohio, so you can just think about it on your own. But I had to challenge some of the kids to stop thinking the way they do. Like some of the high schoolers, when they went to camp, the only thing they was thinking about was, I gotta holler at a shorty. I gotta get a number. Some of them was asking me a question like, is sex the same as masturbation? I'm like, I'm challenging you to not think about that, because you're not here to think about sex. You're here to go on, like to keep continuing on this journey of your spirituality to grow closer to God. And if you're thinking about sex and masturbation, then you're in the wrong place. There was a few cases of bullying, like instances of people being bullied. It's like challenging people to put themselves in their shoes. Like some people didn't have enough clothes to actually change into during the week. And the kids would like, tease them about it, clown them about it. And I'm just like, okay, think about this. So if you didn't have a certain amount of clothes, how would you feel if someone was talking to you that way? And I tell you this now, no joke. I don't want to sound too brutal, but it shut up all of the clowning and joking. People started being a little bit more humble about the situation that they're in, or being happy about the things that they're blessed with. And then a situation with me is, so as a kid, I used to always have temper problem, anger problem. I was just an angry individual altogether. And I told myself I wanted to be better at controlling my emotions, being more patient, being more respectful and wise in my decision making. And my girlfriend, this setup is her room. Shout out to her. She got a perfect setup. But like, she tells me every single time I need to breathe or I need to work on my patience. And it's one of the hardest things to hear, knowing how much that means to me. But it means so much more coming from her because she knows that that's something that I want to work on. So she'll literally tell me in the middle of us, let's say, having a debate and not arguing. She'll tell me like, hey, just breathe, relax, and think about it. And I get compliments all the time on the amount of patience that I have, just because she helps me do that. She challenges me to be better, to be a little bit more different from who I used to be. So that's my answer. I know that was a long little answer, but
no, that's solid. That's solid.
Yeah.
Sure, you got anything?
Yeah, in general, people often ask me for like, I guess, advice and like various different things. It's not always going to be the same thing. Sometimes it'll be some work related. Sometimes it might be some spirit life related. It could be anything, right? But I find that oftentimes when I have to give anyone any advice, it generally follows sort of the same pattern, right? The first question is always, okay, what do you want? You've got to start with the outcome, this, that, and the other. If you don't even know what you're going for, that's you don't know where to go from there. But then from there, it's always, I always follow it up with, okay, now what are you doing to get to that, right? And so then I'll be, I'm doing this, or like I got this, that, and the other. But, if they were confident in what they were doing to get there, they wouldn't be asking me type thing, right? It's one of those type dynamics. So, the question I really always like to get people to think about is like, okay, so like when you look at like your goals, like say you want to, I want to go to the league, or like I want to go work for these people, or I'm trying to go get a job here, it becomes a question, okay, what does the person that like you want to go work with or interact with or whatever, like what do they want, right? And it always catches people, right? Because, they always think of sort of like how they want to get there for themselves and things of that nature. But, in terms of looking at where you want to wind up, and like, what does the person that can put you in that position, what are they looking for? That's really the question you got to answer. Because, like a lot of people tend to look at it from their own perspective, but that's sort of how you wind up getting a whole bunch of people doing the same thing. Everyone has the like same old dream of like, I'm going to go through here, do it this way. And then, A goes to B goes to C, because that's all everybody's ever shown. When you really look at it from the other way around, say you want to go to the league, what are these recruiters looking for? What are these owners of these teams looking for? Like, what do they want? Not what do you think you need? What do you know they want, right? Yeah. And so, you really started giving yourself like that clear visualization of that, and it does the differentiation for you. I can even speak for myself. Even in work and all that, my job title is like neuroscientist, but a lot of people don't even really know what that means, right? And the further I get into like the skill set and all those types of things, I had to ask myself, okay, what if I wanted a new job, like what do they want me to know how to do? Like if I want to go do something, what do I need to know for that? So all the specializations and things that I know how to do, they come from that. But in really trying to figure out what the people that I want to want me want out of, that's a lot of wants. What the people that what the people that I want to desire me in the future, like considering what they themselves want, seeing what things I align with and actually can get with, and then meeting them in the middle there, it's allowed me to sort of distinguish myself, in a lot of different ways to where I can say, I know how to do this, 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 and this. And they're like, oh, we've been looking for someone that knows how to do this, this, and this. Like, how convenient is that? So I guess the short version is, if you're really trying to figure out a good way to like build yourself into being different, You know, you really got to like look at what's necessary to get to the outcome that you want, and then look at the things that you yourself would be okay with, and everything that falls into the middle of those two, you know, you set your own goals that way. So, you know, I know the question was like, what advice, you know, have I ever done it to like other people and all that? But I mean, I've given that kind of advice to a lot of people. So that's probably the best answer I can give to that question.
You know who, as you were talking, you kind of made me think about an experience that I had where I actually got challenged. Chanel, my wife, she challenged me just in my counseling journey. And, you know, if anybody knows Janelle, especially recently, she is very, 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 very passionate about education. Okay. Like very passionate. And she basically, honestly, kept it real with me. Was like, bro, you're not grinding enough. I'm like, excuse me? Because last I checked, I'm in grad school and you're not. She wasn't at the time. And she was like, nah, bro, like straight up, like you're not grinding enough. Like you're settling with the fact that you're about to get your degree. And that's okay with you. You know what I mean? Like I took my my licensure exam to get my licensure. Didn't study at all. You know, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be easy. Didn't pass. I didn't pass my first time. And she was like, well, it's because you're not grinding enough. You say that you're the best counselor ever. You say that you're killing your internship, which I was, but she was like, you say all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, you don't even know enough material to pass the exam. And she was like, so as far as I'm concerned, you're not the best counselor. As far as I'm concerned, you got a lot more to learn. And that opened my eyes. It kept me humble for one. It also put me back in a whole nother grind level. Like, yo, you know what? She's right. I'm walking and talking. I'm walking around like I'm the best counselor ever. I ain't gonna lie to you though. She made me think in my head like, all right, now I want to be the best counselor because now I know I'm not. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna work until I'm literally the best counselor in the nation. And she's doing the same thing. She's in grad school right now, about to get her degree in education. She wants to be a kindergarten teacher. And she helped me by not being complacent with the fact that I was a student athlete. I would get home from grad school sometimes at 9 p.m. and I had a full day. Like I had practice. Then I had my internship. I had practice until about 11. So from 5 to 11, I'm at football practice. Then from 11 to probably about 3:30, I'm at my internship. Then I have class from 4 to 9. Sometimes from 5:30 to 9 in masters. I felt so bad for myself in the fact that I was like, I have to wake up again at 5 a.m. tomorrow. There's no way I'm studying. But then when she held me accountable, I got in my bag, man. I was like, you know what? There's 24 hours in the day and I'm not using enough of them to work. I got 8 hours of sleep because I'm going to get my 8 hours. But aside from that, video games and stuff, I still make sure I got time for that. But like, there's even the fact that I play video games, there's room for me to do more in my life. There's room for me to grow. There's room for me to evolve. And I don't know if I would have noticed that if it wasn't for Janelle. So she helped me be different as a student athlete. Like I was a legit student athlete. Unlike, you know, a lot of people, they just athlete students, you know what I mean? Like, or athletic
Athletes
students.
in school.
Yeah, they go to school, you know, casually. Yeah, I could get an A, but I'm gonna get a B. And I'm not even saying they're dumb. Like, yeah, I'm not saying F's. It's just like, yeah, could I get an A? Yeah, but that would require extra study, and I'm not gonna do that. And I was that student for a while until she came around and she kept me humble. And she was like, yeah, you ain't grinding enough. I took that as disrespect. So she helped me grow a lot. But yeah, man, I think this has been a good podcast for sure. I think y'all know how we did last time. I think we should always just end with some takeaways. Like, so Jovan, let's start with you, man. Give me, you know, like a 20-second elevator pitch. Like, what do you think is a good takeaway, you know, for any listeners or viewers of this podcast?
Yeah, just don't go through life checking boxes. Just if you're going to be something, you say you're going to do something, like show me. Like actually hold yourself to it and they actually build a plan around how you're going to get there.
Yeah, that's facts. Anybody else got something?
All right. Mine would be set a goal and stick to it. If it takes you somewhere that you ain't familiar with, stick to it. If it takes you somewhere that other people ain't going, stick to it. And, you know, just always follow back to that goal because that's what you're really chasing.
You got something?
Yeah, I got something. I guess a good takeaway that I'll say is that, like, become comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you only grow in those uncomfortable spaces. And I don't mean, it. I just mean like you become. How do I want to put this? How I want to put this? Become comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you grow in those spaces more than you do with the spaces that you're comfortable in. Like, that's the only space that you're gonna see where you need to improve yourself or improve on different aspects of your life. For example, Janelle holding Bryce accountable. That was uncomfortable for him, but he still took it full force and said, "I'm gonna be different." So that's my elevator pitch. That's my 20-second deliverable, or 40, I guess.
Mine might be a little long. Y'all know I'm passionate, man. I might get a little bit into it, but I guess I'll go too. All right, listen. What did I say? Look at me. Everybody look at me. We about to get into it. Listen closely. If you really feel deep down in your heart and in your spirit that you shouldn't be doing something, then you're probably right. Okay. So if you have to be different and you have to stand out in a way that you're not fitting into the crowd to buy into the thing that you believe in, that is okay. Like if I don't want to do something, I'm not feeling comfortable about it. If I'm at a party and I know I shouldn't be there, if somebody's peer pressuring me into drinking and I know I shouldn't, don't do it. Okay. Because there is a better opportunity for you on the other side if you just stick to your gut feeling, stick to your heart, stick to what you want to do. I did not have the choice to go to the NFL or not. My knee told me I couldn't. But I chose not to shut down. I chose to keep going. I chose to, you know what? As big as I am, I'm not going to keep chasing this dream. I'm going to go be a counselor. I'm going to go do what I want. Because at the end of the day, I told myself, I am me. I am who I am. No matter what happens to me, I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to try and be somebody else. And if I wanted to be somebody else, then I could have easily tried to go to pro day, mess my knee up, and tried to live my dream. But I decided not to. Be you. Don't be somebody else. You have your name. You were born with your last name. You were born with your first name. You were born with your face, your beautiful face that you have, for a reason. You were not designed to be the person next to you. You were not designed to be the people that you see on social media. You were designed specifically and perfectly to be you. Do that. That's all I got. Ooh. So, as we close, okay, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate everybody that was listening, everybody that has viewed this entire podcast. We're going to try and make this a weekly thing. You know, there might be some hiccups. You know, your Cuddy might go on a vacation or something. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm closing on a house, so your Cuddy might have to move in. But even if, you know, it's not going to be no slip up. So we're going to try our best to keep this thing going. You know, we always going to have some topics of interest that we can kind of get into. And we're going to go from there. I don't know who the next guest is going to be, but if you out there and you want to hop on this thing, just let us know. You know, reach out. What's up?
Blast from the past, y'all.
Hey,
so
hey.
the pic, if you're viewing this podcast, Kamar is showing you a picture of us at the student section. My Cuddy Jovan making that face, you know what I'm saying?
But, you know what I'm saying?
I forgot about those jerseys.
Look,
what's that?
Hold on.
What's that? The little energy necklace or whatever, whatever that was called.
So this is what we created the student section at Firestone.
Yeah.
We didn't have a student section. So we said, you know what? Well, let's make one. But the number one thing I want to point out about that picture, go back to that picture real quick.
Yeah.
Somebody go up a little bit. Look at the likes. Look at the likes. Boy, you ain't had no likes on that picture. He said, man, I'm tired of y'all. Y'all boys is lame.
Yo.
Nah, but
it's crazy.
And yeah, and if you're just listening, you might be a little confused. So he just showed a picture of us in our student section at the basketball game, and we are all in the old throwback jerseys and stuff. We used to get it rowdy, man. We used to get it rowdy.
Yeah, it was good.
Crazy.
Man, y'all remember when Jovan used to somebody would dunk, I would fall into Jovan's arms.
Ooh, they loved it.
Good time.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Wow.
Good time.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
But, You about to say something, Jovan?
Yeah, I'm about to say for anybody, watching, just leave any comments or any topics that you feel like we should hit, and definitely like and subscribe if you like the show.
Yeah, if there's anything y'all want to hear or hear us talk about, or if you want to be on it yourself, just let us know. Drop a comment or just hit us up on our Instagram. Let us know, because you never know. You might be the next guest. So, and we also are open for ideas for topics. So you might let us know. But as long as y'all got nothing else, man, we can slide. We can dip up out of here. I appreciate the three of you, and I appreciate everybody that's been a part of this. Huh?
I said, shout out Lloyd. That little Lloyd bar.
Can I be for real?
Let's get out.
Now look here.
I'm in need of love. So let's dip up out of here.
You got this man started.
You just my time. Everything's so right. I just want to chill.
All right.
Dip up out of here. Let's dip up out of
Millions, yeah. I don't even know